your favorite spot, of course, is with Chad.
Yep. I love drums three more than anything in the world. I'll be honest, it was not intentional. I ended up there on accident my first weekend. I had no idea where I wanted to be. I actually didn't know that with I Disappear, I would even have a chance at Rail. My first week in Massachusetts, I didn't even know what a frantic ticket was, which you've heard about from Chris and my peers and things like that. Um, I had no idea. And so we stroll out there, and I was like, oh, that's James's chair because I can read it and it says Papa's ass here on it. And I was like, that's familiar. And, I I just was writing this down after since getting, a lot closer to Chad. But on my first night out there, I brought like a vinyl and with a marker so I could write on it and I could make signs because I wanted to make a sign for Pantera that said like floods on it. I still haven't heard floods and I've seen Pantera like 12 times. Anyways, but I wrote a note on it to Chad because that was the last thing I was going to do was like embarrass myself and yell at the technician and be that kid who's like screaming and wants to, have answers and things like that. And I wrote, "Where's the Sunburst?" The Ken Lawrence, which I love.
Yeah.
It's one of my
Yeah.
favorite guitars. And I looked at the rack and I knew it was kind of gone in Europe. And so I held that sign up. This was the first interaction I'd ever had with Chad. I was like, "Where's the Sunburst?" And he looks at me, he reads it, and then he goes, "I sold it." And he turns around and he walks away.
No chance. I
And
think
then he kind of realized that I wasn't like I was genuinely curious about it. And he kind of came around. He said, "It's in California. I'm working on it." And so that was day one. That was day one, ground zero. And I was like, I don't hate it here. Night two, I kind of ended up over there again. And then Chicago came around and I was like, well, Chicago's really busy, but I'll probably be able to get that spot. So I went back. And then 3 or 4 weeks later, I'm in Canada and I'm finally like talking to him and he's like, "What's your name? Where are you from?" Like
Yeah.
slowly. It took a long time, but he got used to me kind of being around him and I had sort of earned his respect in Minneapolis. There were guys yelling at him about the Call of Cthulhu, the snake bite that has the words on it. And some
yeah.
guys, two or three behind me, he's yelling at me. He's like, "Chad, what do the words say?" And Chad just kind of like looks at him. I call it the death glare. He'll just like hardcore stare at you. And he just turns around and I looked at him and I said, "It's the third verse of the thing that should not be. Not dead witch, eternal lie, stranger eons, death may die." And Chad just looked at me and he pointed at me and I was like, yes. So being able to kind of talk shop
Mm.
and
You
but
impressed them.
also my rule down there is do not speak unless spoken to. I will never call for him. I will never shout at him. Like the people who are 20, 30 feet to my right on top of James, they're yelling at him all night. I'm stiff as a board because I have like this secondhand embarrassment. I think it's so embarrassing that people who are up there and they're like, "James, light my cigar." And I'm like, I don't even want to look at you guys. But Chad's from kind of where I'm from. He's from Midwestern America. And so he and I treat very similarly with people and we engage with people the same way and have similar interests and things like that. Fundamentally, he and I are very similar people, I'd like to believe. And so I think that's why we've gotten as far as we have. Um,
So cool though. Like it's so cool that, and I feel like you went about it the right way. Like you said, where the people are yelling and the fucking assholes probably 6 or 7 beers in them, and like that's not how you get. You went 100% the right way about
yep.
earning the respect, and you got it back.
Yeah.
Because then I was having a look at your Instagram today, and the phone call.
So, genuinely, when I left for Syracuse, which was the first show, my mom looked at me and was like, "Are you going to go see Chad?" And I was like, "Absolutely. That's my spot. If I even leave there, I should start the tour the way that I finished it last
Yeah.
year." And my mom was like, again, Midwestern courtesy, like tell him I said hi. This is what we do in the Midwest. It's like pass along a hello, tell him thanks, whatever, just secondhand. He clearly keeps you entertained and he keeps an eye on you. And for that, I am grateful that you returned home and you had a good enough experience that you want to do it again. And he's part of that. And so I didn't get to tell him in Syracuse, and I came home and I was like, I saw him and he said hi, but I didn't have a conversation with him. And so it wasn't until Toronto night one that he finally came over. He and I have a bit, basically. It started in Minnesota last year where he'll walk out and he'll come up and he'll point his finger at me. And I'll point my finger back, and 9 times out of 10, static, like electric shock. We will zap each other. I literally have no idea how he does it. He jokes, he like shuffles his feet on the ground as if he's like generating it. But we most of the time are able to zap each other. And so he
Wow.
came back, he was like, "What's up?" We caught up like for 2 seconds. How was your winter or whatever? I was like, "Chad, just want to let you know, my mom says hi. She's grateful that I had enough fun that I'm back here again, and you are a part of that." And he was like, "That's cool. Tell her I said hi back." That was night one. I thought that was it. I thought that was the end of it. Night two, he comes back and he was like, "So is your mom like, what's her name?" Like he's really cheeky about it. He's so funny about it. And it was Toronto. Toronto's a massive city. And so I had really good cell service. And he was like, "You should call her." And immediately I knocked my buddy. I go, "You got to get this on film. You have to film this." And so Shane pulls out his phone and I pull it up. My mom goes to bed at like 8:30. And so I was surprised she picked up the phone at all. But I was like, "Chad's here." And he didn't ask, but Chad grabbed my phone and he walked away.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
And so my mom claims that he was all like courtesy and business, like, "Where are you from? Are you okay that she's still out here on tour? Like, she has fun, she has a lot of energy." My theory was he asked her what my favorite song was. And my mom, more than anything, knows that last year, Inamorata was really, really special for me. And so she probably said Inamorata. And Chad had the set list at that point, and I didn't know. I thought last year in Mexico on the first weekend, Inamorata was done. That was the last time they'd play that song. They tried it, the experiment was over. That song is too long, whatever. And then what was my cue? So night two goes by. He gets me my phone back. The energy is great. The Canadians are so sweet. They're so polite. We're having such a good time. That was the first night we had Limp Bizkit. And I think I watched Chad. So second drum kit comes around, and second drum kit usually has all three 72 season songs on it. And they
Yeah.
moved Inamorata to drum kit 3 because it was so
Oh.
long. And then you couldn't like put that right next to Cthulhu. And it was it
Yeah.
took up a lot of space. And so I remember I was like, okay, if they're getting rid of Inamorata, they'll bring back like You Must Burn. All right. So I'm expecting Chad to pull a truckster out. And he does. But there was another cue somewhere that I was like, I looked at my buddy and I was like, "They're playing Rome. They're not playing another 72 song. They're playing Rome." And I grabbed him and I was like, "She's back, she's back, she's back, Inamorata." And so to have that song back, which was for all intents and purposes, that was my song. That was my highlight of last year. And so full circle, I thought that when I was like, "Mom, what did he tell you?" And she was like, "Bye, have a good show," he told her that Inamorata was on the set list, and I didn't
Ah,
know. And so I thought that was really, really great and really funny. So whether or not that happened, I don't think I've gotten a clear account from either of the two of them what was exchanged in those 30 or 45 seconds, but I would not put it past them.